2 live. And we're live. We're live. What's up, guys? How's it going? Um, Welcome to Crush This Monster Truck Podcast, presented by High Octane Coffee, J Concepts, JB Scale Graphics, Justin Stories, and once again, I have to give a shout out to him. This book's pretty cool. It's called Making Tracks. It's a comic book, like full page, talks about everything, about the monster truck shows and stuff like that. Go ahead and take a look at that book on Amazon.com. $10 a pop, or shoot him a message on Facebook. Um, Take a look at this. He's also having a poetry in motion. I'm trying to look for all that. I got a bunch of stuff. You know what is crazy? This. I didn't even know about this. Bigfoot. Dan Rente signed this back in 2009. I got this in the Monster Truck Radio show. Anyway, so we got this going on here, folks. Let's see here. Let's go. And also, JB Scale Graphics. Take a look at their stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. Officially licensed by Bigfoot. Bad Habit, Obsessed, Overkill Evolution. Go ahead and take a look at this stuff for what you want for your monster truck needs. J Concepts, thank you guys for what you done. They're also officially licensed by Bigfoot, USA One, and Samson. Excuse me, PEI, Dan Patrick. Go ahead and take a look at their stuff too. Bodies, and a pretty cool body I saw at the Hall of Fame. They started that on Monday, and it's an OBS Bronco body back in the 80, I think it's 87 to 91, 92 type deal body. So that's pretty cool. Next week's guest, it'll be up in the air. I was originally going to bring a pre-recording that I did at the Hall of Fame, but I'm going to save those when I go to Monster Jam events. Basically, if I go from one destination to the other, and put those episodes up. Once again, guys, congratulations. My bosses from my work at Hall Brothers, Tim Hall, Mark Hall, John Moore, and Bobby Holman. Congratulations on the 2021 International Monster Truck Hall of Fame. If you ever have a chance to go to the Monster Truck Hall of Fame in Butler, Indiana, about 30 to 35 minutes outside of Fort Wayne, Indiana, northeastern part of Indiana. Check it out. Have some time. Donate. The curators, Chris Allen, Jim Allen, go take a look at them. They are knowledgeable. Along the side of the building, you're gonna have, heavy metal. The first tank truck that the first vehicle the Hall brothers ever put together. Their monster tank, all the way down the line. The world champion, the 89, 94, and 97 world champion Equalizer. Right next to it is Taurus 3. They have a bunch of merchandise in the merchandise area. Shirts from Brutus all the way to Raminator, Bigfoot, Avenger, all the way to even some old USA One stuff. Go ahead and take a look at that stuff too. So half of the building's also a hall for parties or stuff like that, and take a look at that stuff. That's pretty cool too. It's very interesting and very cool. The Hall of Fame was also something you have to go take a look at it. It was last weekend. I did a live episode. You guys all took a look. Awesome guests. Just popping in. Started with Alan Finstamaker, the Earthquake fame, all the way to modern drivers like Brad Shipper. We even had Kurt Kramer on, all the way to the legends like Tim Hall, Bob Chandler, Deal Wilson, Mike Vaughters, and to the point, and also a mixture of everything like Dustin Parks, and also Christopher Allen as my last guest, which was pretty cool too. That's on Facebook right now, YouTube. Go check that out. If I get about 20 to 25 likes, I was going to put that as an audio deal too. So remember, guys, if you guys could do that, that'd be awesome too. Once again, 5-star likes on iTunes, Spotify. Thank you guys for all that. Send the love. Also, if you guys can, Brad's going to be on here too. He has his crew shirt on, $100 a pop. from 6B Apparel. Shout out to them for helping us out. Thank you so much. 6B Apparel makes our old school logo and also our new wave. Merchandise will be coming out soon next year with shirts and hats. We're going to just start the year off with that. I got decals still waiting in the books. They'll be coming. So if you guys want those, they're $5 a pop, or take a look at some of the trucks that will have it. Outside of that, guys, thank you so much. A cool thing also is Brad's kicking some butt right now on this designing stuff with monster trucks. There's some projects coming out. Take a look at that stuff at bradleyshawdesigns.com, or I think it's CA, whatever they do in Canada. But go ahead and take a look at his stuff. There's some pretty cool projects coming out, and also a group that just purchased a monster truck advised him for a cool design. So I ain't telling you who, but he'll do that in another episode, which is pretty awesome. Also, outside of that, my open house, well, HBR open house will be this weekend, Saturday from 9 to 5, 6, but we're have RC racing there from 9 to whenever. $10 for first truck, $5 after that. Raffles, giveaways, surprises. We have retro, sport mod, pro mod, LMT class. I have an event page on Facebook. You guys are more than welcome to. Got hotel deals too. If you guys want to stay the night, Holiday Inn's at $89, Super 8 $98, and then Cobblestone Suites $107 with a 15% discount. Cool thing is when you go Cobblestone in Paxton, the Paxton Feld shop's right across the street. So that's some pretty cool stuff right there. Come along, take a look. There's going to be a Raminator there. Ramunition and Hotsy are going to, Ramunition's going to be there. Also, Mark's Race Truck's going to be there. Not tired up, but they have the smaller tires on and stuff like that. But Raminator, there is going to be one Raminator with tires up. What's going on, Chris? What's up, John? Thank you for being on. Thank you for everyone that's being on, too. Much obliged. Man, there's a lot of information going on. Like I said, thank you to everyone that went to the Hall of Fame and also the people that got into. Also, the 2020 people from the Hall of Fame got Mark Bendler, Scott Hess. I need to look at my posters that I got. And two others. I'm sorry, but if anyone can help me out with the 2020 group, that'd be much obliged. They also honored them that's this year too, which is awesome. Thank you so much. Also seeing Barefoot and Hercules was pretty cool. John Moore was 2021, Chris, not 2020. So I gotta take a look at my little photo thing. But Kevin Datney and Dave Marquardt. That's it. Thank you, Cheech. You're welcome, Dan. You're welcome. Anyway, so those was a pretty cool outing. So in this episode, we're still going with the Hall of Fame, still good, kicking it old school with a cool cat that I'm going to introduce you guys. His name's Chris Gibson, and he just found and is rebuilding a pretty badass vehicle. And that is the BIgfoot Ranger. But he has more to tell than just that. A fan from heart. What's going on, Tom? A fan of heart. Collector. He also has his own personal, looks like he has his own personal Monster Ranger too. So we'll talk about that stuff. But they'll be on shortly, but we'll get the show started right now.
isn't your typical motorsports podcast. You're listening to Crush This, a monster truck podcast presented by High Octane Coffee and J Concepts. A show where we take you inside the minds of your favorite drivers, past and present, of the monster truck industry. And now, your hosts, Brad Shaw and Dan Chichagash. Buckle in. The show starts now.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing, Brad?
I'm doing good, man. Finally in winter here up in Alberta, Canada. We've gotten quite a bit of snow over the last couple of days, so cold, miserable outside, but we got an awesome episode planned for you guys today. Also, Cheech, you mentioned in the intro that a team that just recently acquired a truck inquired me about a design. Well, this is going to be breaking news to you. We talked about this a little bit before we started the podcast, but when that team is ready to unveil that design, we're going to be doing it live on air here on Crush This. I just got the confirmation from the team owner, so watch out for that, guys. That's going to be an awesome episode, and this design is one of my favorites that I've done, guys. So you guys aren't ready for this. Like, Dan's seen it. Dan has seen this design, and you guys, like, I am stoked for this.
I survived. I almost died. So I was not going to be making it after I saw what happened. So, Canada sending their best weapons over here in the United States. We're not going to take that. We're better than that. So, no, it's a pretty cool design. He outdid himself this time, but hopefully he puts it in the right file so people can wrap it right.
Which I've designed it. I've designed it in Adobe Illustrator, not Photoshop. So I'm not making that same mistake I did with Zane back in the day.
Right, but at least you know, right?
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's cool, and can't wait to see that, Brad. That's gonna be awesome.
Oh,
but but we're gonna say hey to Chris Gibson, and how you doing, sir? And thank you for being on.
Well, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to talk about the Bigfoot Ranger.
We're gonna lead to that, but let's talk about you being a fan in general. Tell me the first time you saw a monster truck show. I know you are a huge Bigfoot fan, and what got you intrigued to the big blue Ford?
Well, since Bigfoot was the original truck out there, I was automatically attracted to it when they first started. So I don't even remember how old I was, but I was old enough to I want this. I want to do this, and I just was intrigued by it right from the get-go. And everyone always asked me about my big blue Ranger that's on 44s. And they said, did you copy that off of the Bigfoot Ranger? I said, no, because Bigfoot Ranger wasn't out yet. I based my blue Ranger off of Bigfoot 3, because Bigfoot 3 has always been my favorite truck until the Bigfoot Ranger came out, and then those became my two favorite trucks. And so I just kept on trying to mimic what my Ranger should look like, and it should look like Bigfoot 3. And I just kept on, every time I saw it, I go, okay, I need this part. I want it to look like that truck. So even down to the tonneau cover on the top that's got the big Ford oval. And I just said, I got to go higher. I got to be bigger. I went from 33s to 39s to 44s. It's got to go bigger. And that's where Ranger ended up as, on 44s. And so I just show it, and that's been my baby, ever since. And I've always said to myself, because when the Bigfoot Ranger came out, it was in the powder blue. I said, I had the poster, I have it on the wall. I says, one of these days, that truck's going to be mine. One of these days. And I just kept on saying it. It is in the wall, on the wall in my garage, across from the Blue Boss, my other Ranger. And I say, one of these days, you're going to be mine. And that's where it's come to right now. And she's mine. So I'm happy to redo her. But it's a long history and a long story. How I came across the Bigfoot Ranger and the body. And when you're ready, I can tell the story.
Well,
we're going a slow intro there. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, talking about your fandom and, being like seeing big. You're saying Bigfoot 3 was your favorite Bigfoot of all time. When was the first time you got to see Bigfoot in person?
I think I was probably like maybe I'm going to tell my age. I'm 58, so I was probably 16 or 17. I think it was like 1978. So I think I was like 16 when I first saw Bigfoot, and I saw Bigfoot in Sacramento at a Future Ford at the dealership, and I just went crazy.
Nice.
I just I'm
Now,
like, oh, I got to see this. I mean, I took a million pictures, and I can't even find those pictures because I took a million pictures of that truck.
so you were intrigued by 3. What got you intrigued of that truck compared to 1, 2, or the very famous Bigfoot 4 or 5 being the tall ears? What intrigued you to basically pretty much the Bigfoot truck that seemed like it was always in the back of the other Bigfoot trucks?
Well, trust me, I liked 1 from the beginning, but when I saw 3, I was in love with it. Everything about it, the curves, the sleek, the fancy, the polished rims. She just had that kind of grace of, something that I just fell in love with, and I was like, oh man, I really, really love this truck, and even though the 4 is a lot like it, but it's not a factory frame modified. It's a straight frame. I like it, but it wasn't 3. There was a total different truck. I think 3 was more of a show truck than a performance. Where 4 was more a performance truck, and it had the lockers on it, or the I can't think of it now, but her axles were different, her hubs were different. It was a little different truck. Not that I don't like any of the Bigfoot trucks, because I like all of them, but my favorite still, I like 1. I've always liked 1. I like 2, but something about 3 really struck my eye, and I just, okay, I want to do my Ranger like number 3.
I was about to say number 3 is always on posters and stuff like that too. That's when you mentioned about that, like the like Tom said, the Warren hubs and stuff, and also I remember the chrome rims, and it was eight tire eight tires on that truck
Yes,
compared to the standard 4. But
and
yeah, I really like that.
the one thing about 3, I tried to emulate a lot of those pictures. The Ranger on snowbank, just like 3 was, or it was in the snow. I tried to do something close to and take pictures of it. It's because that was just sort of I want to be something like 3. Because all the cool pictures I thought came from 3. In the snow, on the snowbank. On the car with 8 wheels. I don't know, something about 3 really intrigued me, and it sort of caught my eye, and so then I tried to emulate those with my Ranger, even when it was small. So
So you mentioned that you had your Ranger before Bigfoot Ranger came out. When
yeah.
when Bigfoot Ranger came out, what was your immediate reaction to it? Were you like, "Holy crap, this is kind of like, what I kind of want to do now with my truck?" And what was your reaction?
I was like going, wow, this is like awesome. I mean, I wasn't really at that time really too crazy about powder blue. I'll be upfront with you, this is not my color. I like more of a dark blue. I'm like, okay, I was expecting to be dark blue, because I didn't realize it would come out as Ms. Bigfoot, but I still thought it was awesome. I mean, the horsepower, the blower, the hood tilting, and the thing just like you can crush cars and fly over, and they just took a stock truck and just modified it. I'm going, oh, this is what I could do this, and that's why my truck kept on getting bigger uh, because of they put airbags on it. They went military. I mean, I just okay, I'm gonna go bigger. I'm gonna go bigger. Now I've never gone as big as the Bigfoot Ranger, but that's where my brain went. I was like, I even went the Bigfoot Ranger's got an in cab roll cage, the where the odometer's on the dash. I mean, it's like I literally started putting stuff in the same exact place as that was on the Bigfoot Ranger. So I started doing a lot of stuff with on the Ranger, my Ranger, so it looked a lot like that, even though it was a different color.
That's what I was about to ask. Because my next question is, you were building your big Ranger truck, before Bigfoot Ranger came out, and
Mm-hmm.
when you first heard about it and saw about that truck, what was, because when I was talking to Bob Chandler and Jim Kramer about it, they helped try to push the Ranger group. I remember stories of the 4-wheel drive Jamboree, and everyone seemed like they had a Toyota Hilux or a Toyota pickup truck, and they were modifying stuff like that, and they were trying to kind of prove that they could do the same thing with the Ranger. And what was pretty much? Do you remember like the first uh, addition that you did to your Ranger when you first saw Bigfoot Ranger, and you basically said, "I got"?
So I think the first thing, because I'd already when I first got my Ranger and I put it on 33s, Bigfoot 3 had the rolled front fenders. They rolled the front
Hmm.
fenders so they're not squared off, and so I rolled the front fenders right from day one before I even put the tires on it. And I'd already put a roll bar on it, and it wasn't a chrome one, but it was a Schmitty built, painted full solid one. When I saw the Bigfoot Ranger, one thing my Ranger did not have is the stainless steel bed cap on it that says Ford. I
Hmm.
immediately I gotta have the same thing. So I went and bought that, and I went and ordered a in cab roll cage, and then I saw the seats, and I go, okay, I got to switch the seats. So I went from a bench, and I went and put in seats exactly like the Ranger. So I had bucket seats just like the Bigfoot Ranger. I mean, I took a million pictures of it, and then did my research and tried to find a seat that was fairly close to that seat, so I had the same thing in the cab of my truck.
As a fan of the smaller size pickups myself, I've had S10s and stuff like that. And at the time, you had the Chevy Love, the Ranger, the S10, Sonoma S15, or whatever you want to call it. Do you think Bigfoot making a truck like the Bigfoot Ranger kind of helped the popularity of these smaller size pickup trucks at the time?
I do think it helped a lot. Because in my era it was dominating Toyotas. Everyone had a Toyota, but then the Ranger started coming out, and then as Bigfoot brought out the Ranger, people started doing a lot more things with the Rangers. I started seeing more at shows also too, which I think was pretty cool.
So you did you ever? I mean, more detailed also with your Ranger. Uh, Did you put a blower on yours?
I did not. By the time I was getting ready to put a motor in the thing, I got married. And how
Mm.
married things happen, things get put on the back. I have a 351 Winter that's half built, and actually I did get a sponsorship from B&M Transmission, and they were going to give me a blower, and because I couldn't fulfill the commitment, I turned it down. And I had a
Mm.
blower. They were shipping the blower, and I said I can't finish the commitment, and I don't want it. I don't want to take something that I can't fulfill a commitment to. And they honored that. That
Gotcha.
was pretty cool. Because a lot of people actually will do try to get sponsorships, and then they don't fulfill a commitment, and then they take the product. And I personally, that's not how I operate. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something, and I'm going to honor that. And so I couldn't finish the commitment to it, and so they didn't send it to me. But I tried to do the same thing with Advanced Adapters. Advanced Adapters told me to keep all the stuff. Good people, and I still talk to them to this day. So I've kept a long-term relationship with them. So.
As the sport kept progressing, trucks like Bigfoot 4 came out, then eventually Bigfoot 8. What was your thoughts on when Bigfoot was doing kind of all these different things, especially when number 8 came out, as a fan of the business?
I Bigfoot, I always thought was on the cutting edge of everything. And when Bigfoot 8 came out, I just thought it was completely badass, because you're seeing all these off-road guys doing this kind of stuff, and now to do this in a monster truck was huge. And I was like, wow, I was impressed with how they came up with the cantilever system and how they made things work in the travel, and how much smoother it was when it landed and you didn't bounce all over the place. Well, you still bounce, but it's a lot more controllable. I thought it was awesome when they were testing 8 on 48s. I thought that was, out of this world. I was like, wow, this is cool, because then it got me thinking a little bit. Because even my 4-wheel drive buddies who have Jeeps, I'm like, you need to do this kind of suspension and get rid of the spring, and you get farther travel when you're 4-wheeling. So that's where my brain was going.
Did you ever have? Here's a probably want to know a story about. How close were you from actually purchasing a real monster truck? Were you actually thinking about it, building one? What? Yeah, pretty much. Was there a point in time where you were almost going to bite the bullet?
Yes and no. Yes, I wanted to bite the bullet. If I can get my hands on one, yes, yes, I could. But there's more to that story that I'll tell you in a little bit.
So, let's talk about, how you acquired the Bigfoot Ranger. That truck, it's been through a couple owners since Bigfoot has owned it. How did you get your hands on it?
Okay, good question. So here's the thing: is the Bigfoot Ranger is the only Bigfoot truck that has been torn apart and sold to 2 owners. It's the only one. 3 was sold to in one piece. 2 was sold in one piece. But the Bigfoot Ranger, that when they sold it in 2 pieces. They sold the suspension, motor, transmission to Chandler Lloyd, and they sold the body and frame. Now you're gonna get this, to me, in 1983. I was in Las Vegas at SEMA, and I was talking to Bob Chandler in 92, and I said, "Hey Bob, now that they're going to change the whole body style, what are you going to do with this truck?" He goes, "I wish you called me a week ago. I would have sold you the whole truck. I just sold half of it to Chandler Lloyd." I said, "Well, what's left?" He goes, "The body and frame." And I go, "What are you going to do with it?" He goes, "I don't know." I go, "How about if I buy it?" And he says, I go, "How much?" He goes, "This is where you guys are going to die on this. $500. Exactly.
No.
500. The body and frame, $500. I says, "I'll take it." I says, "Do you want money right now?" He goes, "Nope." He goes, "I'll get your information. I will send you a letter, and we will talk in January, and we'll talk about it." And Ron Gruder sent me a letter, the information, and then we corresponded, and I went to Missouri to pick it up. Now you guys are shaking your head.
It's just crazy because I thought the Bigfoot. So I thought it was recently you got it, but is it recently that you got the drivetrain and stuff?
So no, I'm going to go on to that. So then
Okay, go ahead. This is a time. So in this episode, it's a timeline. Now we're in a timeline conversation. The floor is yours, Chris. Go ahead and talk it through. We'll just stop and listen. Okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, right. Because I know people like, how about Francis? I will get to that. So here's the thing.
Go right ahead.
So I got it, brought it back to California, and I put it in a barn, and I started doing some work. I did some frame work, filling in some holes, did some body work. So we started working on it, and then I got a little bit bored of it, and life happens. You get married and stuff like. So I just pushed it to one side in a barn, and it sat there off and on for 20 years, and the tires and the rims were in another barn, covered up. The hood was off. I filled in the backside of the hood. I had the exhaust system. Everything sat in a couple barns. One was dark all the time, so it never was exposed to anything. The other one, where the body and frame was in a open section of barn, and it's pushed to one side. And I did work off and on, and then I got bored of it, and I built another truck, a big old Super Duty. And long story short, now 20 years has gone by, and my mom passed away, so I sold her property, and because we had it at their ranch. And in the process, my wife says, "What are you going to do with this truck?" She goes, "You going to sell it, or are you going to build it?" I said, "I want to build it, but if I don't," I says, "I need to sell it to somebody who really, really knows what they're doing." And I took it to a friend's pasture, and we put it on sawhorses. And then I put the rest of the truck in storage. And it sat there for 6 months. And 6 months to the day, I get a phone call from 4 Wheel Parts in Sacramento, where this guy has been looking for the last 6 months, trying to chase me down, because they thought my truck, the Blue Boss, was the Bigfoot Ranger. And because it looks a lot like the Bigfoot Ranger. And so they're like going, "Is it?" And so Eli, who owns Bigfoot 3, was helping Francis chase his truck down. And they're going, "The guy who owns it, his name is Chris." But that's all they knew. They didn't know my last name. And they were chasing different 4 Wheel Parts, because this picture of my Ranger was on Facebook, and it was in front of 4 Wheel Parts. And it took them 6 months to the day, and they called 4 Wheel Parts. They asked for Chris. They got the shop manager at the time. He goes, "Is this the Bigfoot Ranger?" I goes, "Do you own the Blue Boss?" He goes, "No." And you hear a sigh. And then he goes, "Is that the Bigfoot Ranger?" He goes, "No." Another sigh. Then he goes, "Do you know where the Bigfoot Ranger is?" And he goes, "Yes. Bigfoot Ranger is owned by the same guy who owns the Blue Boss." And he's like, "Are you kidding me?" He could not believe it. So they give me his number. I call him, and we talk. I want to make sure he was the real deal, because I'm not going to sell anybody that truck, because one, it's a piece of history, and I didn't want to crush it. It was a piece of history, and I wanted to build it, or somebody who would build it. And I started talking to Francis. He told me he had the clone, and I watched the whole build on the clone. And he said he had the shuttle, and I wanted to see pictures. And he said he was rebuilding Bigfoot 2. So he sent me pictures, and I go, okay. And he sent me pictures of the truck from Chandler Lloyd. And I go, okay, this is the real deal. I'll sell it to you. So then I sold him that and everything I had. And about a month after I sold it to him, I called him up. I says, "I wish I would not sold it to you. I wish I would have bought everything and rebuilt it myself." He goes, "If I ever decide to sell it," he goes, "I will give you first chance." And I think 5-6 years went by, and I get a phone call about this time of the year. And he goes, "I want to sell it." He had been sitting under a tarp for the last 5 years, still on the crate. They shipped it, because when they shipped it, we put it took it to a crating company, and they strapped the thing on a crate, and they put it in the front of a trailer, and then they stacked the tires on the crates, and they pushed in front of it, so nobody could see it when it was going to New York. And then he called me up, and he's just like, "I want to sell it." I said, "Okay." We negotiated a deal on it, and then the guy who was going to rebuild it for him, I picked up the phone, called him. I said, "Hey, why don't you go up and get it for me, and let's get started on it." And it's sort of been a history. We've been trying to keep it a secret as much as possible. It's sort of hard, when you tell one person, or one person knows somebody, and they're like, you're not supposed to tell anybody, and then they tell 10 other people. But it's been an adventure for us because we've had a good time with it. When they brought it back from New York, literally they covered both the truck and the Littlefoot on the trailer and drove it from New York all the way back to Missouri, where it's at Greg Smith's place. Here's the thing: is we didn't want anybody to see the truck at all, and you know how it is. If you see a Bigfoot truck, somebody's going to tell it, and everybody's going to know. And so we were trying to keep it as much hush hush as possible. Even when people would say to me on Facebook, I really would love to know where the Bigfoot Ranger is, and I would say, that is the $1 million question. I knew where it was. It's just that we're trying to keep it under secret a little, as much as we could, because we wanted to have a little fun. We wanted to, when the Ranger, it's not done. There's a lot of cancer that we have had to go through. The floor pans, we got the right side down, the right firewall we've had to redo. Now we're working on the left. So we're trying to bring it back to as close to period correct as possible. Chasing down, new off-road lights. The whole upper half of the roll bar was so pitted that it would have cost me $6,000 just to re-chrome it, because my chromer in California says I won't even touch it. I rebuilt it. Me and a buddy of mine, I went to the shop and we rebuilt it. It took us 14 hours to rebuild the whole upper half. Then I re-chromed it, but it looks exactly the way the truck did. We're trying to make it look the way it did in 1993, because I think that it's the only Ranger Bigfoot made. Bigfoot made a lot of trucks. Now they're on to 2022, or if I'm correct. But that's not the Bigfoot Ranger. Right. Yeah. And so,
now one more before, sorry, Chris. Did you ever try to contact Chandler Lloyd or about any of the other additional parts of the Bigfoot Ranger, or did you were like, I'll just put that together myself?
You mean present or in the past?
I mean present, like the motor and the drivetrain, the axles.
No, because when I knew Francis had all of it, it was an easy deal, because even Francis had the motor.
Oh, so he had the 429.
He has the 571 Allen Root motor. It's number 12 of Allen Root's build. Yes. So the blower off of the Bigfoot Ranger is on high roller right now. Mm-hmm. So you look at the blower, that's the one that's off the Bigfoot Ranger. And so I have some connections with BDS, and I'm going to put a brand spanking new one on. That's as much as I want the old one back, I think that probably putting a fresh one back on is probably a little bit better. But yes, she's it's a lot. It's a labor of love. I love every bit of it. I sometimes I have to pinch myself that I can't believe that I have it, but I keep on looking on the poster and it says, now I have you, instead of saying, I wish I had you, or I'm going to have you someday. So that's sort of, the thing. And then when we negotiated the deal, I bought the truck and the truck and suspension, and all of it bolted right back up underneath the truck. Everything bolted right back underneath the truck like it did, 20 years ago or 26 years ago. We didn't have to cut. We didn't have all that stuff bolted right back up. Now there's a couple things are missing, like the air tank that's underneath. It's okay. I have another tank that we're putting inside the bed. You won't even see it. So it'll free some room back up underneath there. It didn't have an air horn on it, but it initially did. We have listened to enough of the Bigfoot Rangers air horn sound that we've narrowed down to we have an air horn that's almost identical sound to the to when they lifted the hood up, they hit the train horn. We have it. So that all that stuff is I've done hours and hours of studying, hours and hours on eBay looking for stuff, making sure that some of the lights, the lights are old, we're refreshing so they look brand spanking new. It she's going to look like the luster that she had back in 1993, probably even better. But
What boggles? I didn't interrupt you, but what boggles my mind is $500. Like, you got to think about the money that Bigfoot put into that truck, with everything, and sold the frame and the body for $500. That, right. That just, my mind is blown over that.
Right. $500. That's equivalent to like $2,500 today. So yes, right. $500. And the front clip, the old front clip, the 85 front clip. You know what they did with it?
What?
It went to the scrapyard. When they changed it out, it went to the scrapyard. So, it is what it is. And it's too bad. But
they didn't know. No.
Right. I wish I had the front clip. Everyone says, "Why don't you go back to the old front clip?" I like the truck the way it is, even though I already have a front clip on another Ranger. Let's do something different. So they're cousins. They're both 85s. One's just got an 89 front clip on it. I think that when we're done, you're going to be glad that we left it the way it is.
So what convinced you? Oh, sorry, Chris. I was asking, what convinced you to bring it to the Bigfoot open house?
It was time. It was time that she needed. We actually were going to do it last year. We're a lot farther along than we were last year, but the reason we brought it because there was. I think that I did when I first got the truck. I posted a lot of photos of the Bigfoot Ranger on the history page and the fan page of Bigfoot. And I wanted to see where the market was on how many people were still interested in that truck. And by the numbers of people, the likes that when I post a bunch of pictures were in the 300 to 500 range. I felt that there was a big interest in that truck. And I wanted to see, so as I call it, this poking the bear, I want to see what is out there because I want to know, because is it time for us to bring the Ranger out now or later? And I felt that it was now. But COVID came and they canceled, so we didn't bring it out. Now, when we did the post on the Sunday night just before and said, look what we found, it's being a little facetious because that's not really what I was trying to do is get some excitement for the fans of the Bigfoot Ranger and give them some hope that, hey, look what's back. And the thing was about pushing it towards Bigfoot and driving traffic to Bigfoot's page, because this conversation we're talking is not about me. It's about that Ranger and the history of Bigfoot and the history of that truck. And I wanted to drive traffic to them, because then what happens is that means more people are going to come to Bigfoot and really come to see it. Because I talked to at least 24 people that said, I was on the fence about coming to Bigfoot, and because you were bringing the Ranger, I decided to come. That's good enough for me, because that's what I accomplished what I was trying to do. Bring more traffic to the Bigfoot. That gives more fans the opportunity to see all their trucks and to see a piece of history that we're restoring. It was all good. Like I said, it's not about me. It's about having a good time, about the people who really love the Bigfoot Ranger, Bigfoot 3, 1. It's all about that kind of history. Bigfoot 5. I mean, I saw kids crawling all over the tires because they were in love with it. It makes you feel like a kid. And I'm 58, and I still feel like a kid when I'm around those trucks. And every time I'm there. And I love the staff of Bigfoot. They're great people. They treat me well when I'm there. Bob Chandler. I'm a chiropractor. I adjust Bob Chandler. I did some laser work on him. I treat some of the Bigfoot people when I'm there, because you know why? I want to give back. I want to get back and have a good time with it. they've given me a lot of joy over the 58 years. Now it's my turn to give back to them. I don't know. I think it was good.
One cool thing that I see a trend of, especially the last couple of years, all the restorations of the Bigfoot trucks. You have, I believe it's Eli Mann restoring Bigfoot 3, if I'm correct. You have
Correct.
Bigfoot 8 being restored this year by Bigfoot. You got, Jason, Fred, the guys from J Concepts, and the Childress brothers restoring Bigfoot 4. You restoring Bigfoot Ranger. It's just cool to see that especially just over the last 10 or so years, the nostalgia coming back. You look at Mike Vaughters restoring Taurus, I believe Taurus 3, the Equalizer truck, all these old school trucks being restored to their former glory. It's such a cool time in the sport to be a fan, especially if you're a fan of the TNT days back.
Oh yes, yes. I am a big fan of TNT days, and that's so. Going back to this, you believe it or not, there's a lot of people who really like old school versus new school. And as much as I love the new school stuff, I'm attracted more to the old school stuff. I mean, I love all these old trucks. High Roller. BFT. All these good. All these BFT is more the newer one, but High Roller. Here's another thing about High Roller. I'm going to let you guys know. When I bought the Bigfoot Ranger body on MTRA, I bought the tires and rims that came off of High Roller. And there's a long story too. Those sat in another barn in another ranch we had. And before my mom passed away, she sold them. And because I was going to put them on my Ranger. And I can kick myself. I should have brought them from Arkansas to California. But because now those never made it back to High Roller, because when I saw High Roller being rebuilt, I'm like, I think I have those rims. And I call my sister and she goes, Mom sold those. I'm like, great, but that's, a piece of history. I think as I get older, I become more of a historian on these older trucks. I think they're pretty cool when I grew up with them. So I think it's pretty neat, I not like I don't like the new stuff. I do like the new stuff. I think it's really cool, but comes back to the old school stuff. I think it's pretty cool too.
Do you have a set time that you want the truck to be complete?
Well, I would like to say by the end of next year, the beginning of 2022, that we have the truck done. That would be our goal. Hopefully, we can be pretty close to that. I would really like to say that. I mean, I already have sponsorships for the truck, and I already have a gig for SEMA for the truck. 4 Wheel Parts wants it. I have a list of people who already want it and put the truck on display. And so it's, Sacramento Autorama, they want that truck. They want both my trucks head to head. So the list is already long, is starting to get there. And I haven't even finished the truck yet. So there's interest out there. And, for people already want to have it at SEMA, and she's not even done. That's, that speaks volumes right there, because if your truck makes it to SEMA, it's a big deal. And that's, I've already had a truck that's been to SEMA, but never the Blue Boss, but my other truck, yes. But so to get the Bigfoot Ranger at SEMA, I can't wait.
What's some of the reactions from some of the guys that have driven the truck in the past? I believe Ken Kelling drove the truck in the past, and a couple other people. What are some of the reactions that you've had from some of these guys that you piloted the truck back in the day?
They're in shock that it's coming back, especially Ken Kelling. I saw Ken Kelling at the Bigfoot open house, met him, talked to him. I let him crawl over the truck, and he's like, he couldn't believe that we were doing this. He was very happy to see the truck coming back. I think that I think all the other Bigfoot people that I talked to, who've driven it or loved it from when they were a kid, think it's totally awesome that we're redoing it. Rodney, Hot Rod, He
Mm-hmm.
loves that's being done. He couldn't believe that I was redoing it. When I first sent him a message, he thought I was doing it to my other Ranger. I said, no, you need to come out and take a look at it. And I invited him out to where the truck's at, and I met him. I flew and met him just so he could see it. And he's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're rebuilding it." So, yes, the Bigfoot the Bigfoot people really like it. Bob Chandler can't believe I'm redoing it either. So, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm happy that I'm bringing back some old luster and being able to um, um, make people happy. And Marilyn said to me and Bob, she goes, "Bob, I wish you would have never sold the Ranger." That's what she told me when I was at the open house. I wish you would have never sold
Uh-huh.
it. So I
Man.
guess she was a little bit mad about that. So yeah, it was good. It's good. It's good. I'm happy that we're working on it, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to bring it back to its luster, and to be able to have fun with it. I cannot wait to fire that thing up with over 1,200 horsepower underneath my feet. I can't wait. I can't wait to jump the first car with it. I will not do a Ken Cowling at all. Ken said he will. I won't. I will not. I will not fly over that thing like Ken Cowling because I like
Just
all this
like
work.
what happened in Marion County in Indianapolis. He flew that truck like it was a regular monster truck, and he did a number to it, but it was pretty cool. Is there any
Yeah.
fans that can follow the progression of the build on social media?
Right now I have a private page that when we were building it in the beginning, it was sort of private, but we are going to open up a public page. Just not yet. If we're doing some stuff, I'm going to throw stuff out on the history page and on the fan page for right now. But I will come up with a new page for it that we can continuously to share with everybody.
And
Man,
now
there's
my final. Oh, go ahead,
Yes.
go
Keith.
ahead, Brad. No,
Okay.
no, go ahead.
What? So I know the truck kind of had a couple different livery changes throughout the years. With the McDonald's logo on it and all that. What livery are you going to be keeping the truck?
You mean like in what logos and stuff like that?
Yeah, like what logos?
So we have, and I don't know if you guys seen them, but you can email me and I will actually send me your addresses and I will actually send you the Bigfoot stickers. We actually took the pictures of um, that Dan Patterson did on the poster of when it was Ms. Bigfoot and the Bigfoot Ranger, and we flip flopped them. And we have the Ms. Bigfoot Ranger on the gas tank on the driver's side, on the passenger side of the Bigfoot Ranger on the other side. So I have those stickers on it. It was when we were at the Hall of Fame at open house, we actually put them on and we were handing out the small stickers to the kids and adults who wanted them. It turned out to be really big. The McDonald's sign, you got to love this. We are redoing the McDonald's sign because we're not sponsored by McDonald's, nor do I endorse a McDonald's. Personally, my McDonald's sign now says Mick Ranger.
I
So
love it.
it will be on the back of the truck and on the sides, and it says Mick Ranger. We've already done them, and I have them. So it says Mick Ranger. That is, and it's got the golden arches. It looks like the same one when they did the ones on the emblems on the up in the front. We're gonna put them on the back, and we have already changed it to Mick Ranger because it is definitely definitely fun. It's a fun thing. If I can't do it without getting in trouble, then I'm gonna try to do something sort of corny, and I think that I think it's a little on the corny side, but I think it's funny. Mick Ranger, I think it's totally the way to go. I'm going to try to, stretch it as far as I can. And I think that's a good one. Ranger,
Yeah, that is pretty cool. McLoving it, Rogers is saying. But any social media, like I said, outside of that, hopefully people will follow through. And are you ever going to plan on taking it to the Hall of Fame also?
Yes. Yes, I am going to take it to the Hall of Fame. I would really like to, see that Bigfoot has it for a year, like on a lease basis. That's something that it's in talks. It would be nice if I could lease it back to them for a year. They take care of it, and then it goes to the Hall of Fame, and then it comes back to me. I mean, I would like them to show it off, and what better to let them have it for a year, and then it comes back to me. I like I say, giving back to the people, giving back to kids. Kids are our future. Why not let the kids come to Bigfoot and see the Bigfoot Ranger? It's like cool. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait till it's done, so I can come play with it. But I don't want it just to be about me. I want it to be for other people too, to be able to share it with them. So definitely, yes, I want to bring it to Hall of Fame. That is our goal, is to bring it to Hall of Fame. Now, people wanted me to bring it when they were moving to the Hall of Fame from Auburn, Indiana, over. And I'm like, it's not ready, and I don't want to pull it out. Because I really wanted to bring it out at Bigfoot beforehand. So I want, when it comes to Hall of Fame, I want it to be done. Not still.
All I ask for is if you get it done, you have to have a video of you dry hopping that truck. Straight away on the Pacific in the front road in front of the open house. Bust out 1, 2, or some gear shift 1, 2, 3. Roast them. Right. Down the straightaway and turn.
You got that one. The other one I'd love to do, but with all the EPA, I would love to drive it back in the river. That would be a blast too. But they won't let you do that anymore. But if I could,
which, speaking of which, would you do the recreatements of the Bigfoot Ranger on that river photo? I know they have a photo of that truck near the water with the flag on the on the light pole. They brought Fast Track, Shuttle, and Ranger during that little video shoot, but a photo shoot.
I will do that. Yes, if I can and I'm able to, I will do it, because that's sort of part of that history that I'm watching videos. Why can't I be? Why can't we have a part of that too and have our own video of that? That would be a lot of fun. All that kind of stuff. Running down the river, I used to do that with my Ranger. So before in California, before they block everything off, you can't go down the river. This, that, and the other. So I just figured California was the worst, and you can still do that in Missouri. But I've been told you can't. All that EPA stuff, like, oh, too bad.
When you do that, the whole shot dry hop down was talking about, you got to have Ken Kelling sitting next to you in the passenger seat for that one.
Yep, I'll have him probably coach me a little bit on that one. that and crab walking. I want to crab walk that Ranger so much, and like, can I start crab walking? Because I'm ready for it.
I can just imagine you in your garage, just practicing sideways, okay, this is what it's gonna be like.
Forget that. I'll be pulling down my driveway and out down in my street and doing. I live on a long court, and so I can crab walk that truck all day long, and nobody's gonna say anything to me about it. And the only thing they're gonna say is, damn Gibson, he's off with his crazy trucks again. That's all they're gonna say to me about it.
Man, thank you, Chris, for your stories and letting us know what's going on, man. Keep us updated, and we'll post it on our page. Just give us what you're okay with for the time being, and we'll post it on our page and for all that stuff, man, Chris. But awesome story. Your love of monster trucks, and especially Bigfoot. They led the pathway, and so did other people along the way. But having fans like you, giving back to people like them, that makes our podcast so much better. So,
Thank you.
that is really awesome, the story that you told, and thank you for coming to me also about letting telling your story, and because the Bigfoot Ranger was my favorite Bigfoot, and
Thank you.
it's just, to me, it's awesome. Small, 5 ton, big motor, ripping it, best thing ever. So,
Yes.
but once again, thank you, Chris, for everything that you have done. It was pretty awesome.
I appreciate it very much. And guys, I'm so excited to have the original motor in that truck too. I'm so excited. That's just like awesome,
That's the only
One,
way to
two.
do it.
Hemi heads. Oh my gosh! I mean, that's like
There's nothing better than a Hemi head.
I request one thing, that somewhere
Yes.
on the dashboard of your Ranger you put just 1 2, and people are gonna ask like an exclamation point, 1 exclamation point, comma 2 exclamation point, and then
Okay.
if someone asks you, what does 1 2 stand for? Hold on. That's
show
all
ya.
you have to. Let me let me show you. That's all. That's all you do. You don't even have to tell them. And they say, what does 1 2 stand for? Dead stop. First gear.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. One of the things I did at the open house is I got Bob and Marilyn and Ken Cowling to sign the glove box and the sun visor, because I wanted the 3 main drivers to and owner to sign it, and the only one we didn't get because she didn't come was Janice Oliver. And I'm gonna, if I have to go to her house to get her to sign it, I will, because I think it's important that the main drivers of that truck all sign that truck, glove box and sun visor, because I think it's important on a piece of history like this.
Man, that's awesome. Once again, Chris, thank you so much for being on. And,
Okay. Thank you for letting me tell my
thank you.
story.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
Oh, you're much welcome. You're much welcome, man. So we're gonna go ahead and next week, like I said, I'll put someone on next week. If not, it could be a recorded episode, but I will keep you guys updated for that. I'm gonna double check on how many people like the Hall of Fame episode, and I'll put that on audio. But once again, this one will be on audio here in the next couple hours. So if you're along the road and wanted to listen to some stories about the Bigfoot Ranger, well, we got here. Chris would help us talk about it, and he did help us talk about it. Let me frame that. So we'll get to it on that. Once again, open house that we're having for Hall Brothers is this Saturday, 9 p.m. Racing starts for RCs. So 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then we'll for the racers, we'll continue on whenever, so it doesn't matter. But outside of that, guys, thank you to everyone. Joe Sylvester, I'm gonna see him next for Thanksgiving, and getting some product and stuff like that, some giveaways. J Concepts, thank you for what you guys have done for us. Much obliged. JB Scale Graphics, Justin Stories, 6B Apparel, Back Channel Productions. Thank you for everything that you guys have done and help push our product. 5-star likes on iTunes, Spotify. Thanks, guys, for everything that you have done. Before we go, we got Brad. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, guys, like I always say, mental health's important. If you are struggling or going through stuff, message me, message anybody, message Cheech. Like, you don't need to struggle alone. I know it's with the holidays coming up in the States, with Thanksgiving and Christmas, just if you're going through stuff, message, you're not alone in this. You're not alone. So please take care of yourselves. Also, guys, check out BradleyShawDesigns.com. Got a lot of cool things in the works. Like I said, in the next couple of weeks or so, whenever the team wants to announce the design, we're going to be doing that live on air here, which I am stoked for. Some of you guys probably already know who it's going to be. If who's acquired a truck recently. So, but we're still going to kind of keep it a mystery up until
Well,
then.
there's 3 of them. There's 3
There,
people.
there's
To be
3
honest
people,
with
so
you,
it's got to be one of them. So, and guys, it's if you guys want to check me out on Instagram, it's at the Monster Truck Canucker. On Facebook, it's just under my name, Bradley Shaw. Cheech, where can people find you at, man?
I'm not gonna do my crazy antics. I'm just gonna be straight up, guys. Daniel Cheech Agosh on Facebook, Daniel Cheech Agosh on Instagram. Um, well, Ed Beckley just messaged saying he needs a new T-shirt design. So how about you message Brad and you guys can talk works on his Bradley Shaw's designs there, Ed, and
Yep, just
get that started. So.
just shoot me a message, Ed, and we'll talk, man.
All right. Well, for me, that's about it for social media. Crush This. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Once again on iTunes and Spotify. Go check it out. If anyone's confused about that, just put Crush This Monster Truck Podcast. Lately, just type in Crush This, and we're on the first 4 groups. So it's pretty cool. But once again, guys, I'm Dan Teach Agosh.
My name is Bradley Shaw.
I guess I'll do it. Keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. Good night. Peace.